Tim, if we go back to, kind of Martin, I think, showed up with a couple catheters and, a nice pitch, and you looked at that and saw a future for it. I think one of the questions I always have talking to you is, how do you pick out among the hundreds of ideas that people bring to you? Like, how do you sniff out what's the right one? And talk a little bit about how you went about, getting to the level of confidence that you needed to kind of push forward in the project. I know you met Roberto as part of that journey, and ultimately leading to Stephen. So.
Right. Well, it's always difficult to finally decide whether to go forward or not with an idea. That is always a leap of faith. So you never have all the answers. Obviously, Martin, having been a serial entrepreneur and well-known physician, came to us, and so that has a tremendous amount of credibility that this idea has some legs. But being part of an incubator, you work in very, very diverse spaces in medicine. So I had never worked in peripheral vascular before, so I had to get up the learning curve very, very quickly. So I reached out to some people in my network to try to understand peripheral vascular, to finally understand that there's 3 arteries below the knee, some really basic things I didn't even know. And so I was fortunate enough to know Andrea Venturelli at the time, who had co-founded Invetech, which was obviously a leader in peripheral vascular, who introduced me to Roberto. And I asked Roberto if I could spend a day in his lab and just learn. That led me to Stephen, because Stephen had been in Roberto's lab the week before. And so a lot of coincidences happened along the way that, you start hearing first Martin, then Roberto, then Stephen, and then others starting to say, yeah, this is a real need. That starts to build the momentum for the case that this is a potentially fundable project which could develop into its own company and participate in a large market. So I think, technically, I have a background in catheters. I thought we could technically do it. 3 clinicians were then telling me there's a need. And I think that the last frontier was, are there enough patients to make this a viable standalone company? Because coming out of the incubator, we aspire to make standalone companies that can stand on their own legs and participate in large enough markets. And that definitely was not my background. I was never in sales and marketing. But I had to rely on the instinct and with speaking with people in the industry that there could be a market for this. But that was always a large question mark in my head, is how big the market was. Technically, we could do it. Clinically, there was a need, but how many of the patients were out there? And I think that last question was the one that we took the leap of faith on and funded the company without having the answer.